And these are the steaks we're going to be using for today's experiment. They are two beautiful bone-in ribeyes. At the same time, they are some thick boys. We're talking about 1.5 inches thick, and the marbling on them is quite impressive. I cannot stress how important that is. Now, alcohol and steaks are a marriage made in heaven. Since I've started making YouTube channels, I've always tried to put both of them together. I've even done an insane 35 days dry aging whiskey experiment. The results from that video was extremely surprising, and if you have not seen that video, make sure you check it out later on in the description down below. But that took a long time. Today we're going to do something completely different, and for that we're going to be needing the star of the show. Now honestly, it does not matter which one you like best. If you are a Jack Daniel's guy or a Maker's Mark, it does not matter. Either one will work great if this experiment works. Now since I have two steaks, I'm going to be using one of them to do our experiment with the whiskey. The other one we're not going to be doing anything at all, and it will be our control steak. So the first thing to do is to give this steak right here a whiskey shower. After fully covering the entire steak with it, you can see that it changed color. It is not only much lighter, but the smell that is coming out of this thing is very strong. This is going to be a good experiment. But now the next thing to do is to go ahead and start the seasoning. And to ensure that the alcohol will penetrate nicely and deeply into the meat, I am going to dry brine it. As you all know, dry brining is a fancy word to say put salt on it and let it rest on your refrigerator overnight. But most importantly, what that does is that it removes moisture from the steak. Once that's done, it liquefies the salt, which in the end, it goes all back into the steak. This entire process is called osmosis, and it is one of the best ways to season a steak. But now that we have the steaks fully covered with the salt, the only thing left to do is to put it on my refrigerator and wait 24 hours. That is perfect because it allows me time to go ahead and make an awesome side dish. And I think this one will pair nicely with the whiskey steak. And the first thing we need to do is to cook these two beauties. And as you can see, they have a good amount of marbling on them. As you already know, fat is flavor. Now usually when you cook skirt steaks like this, you cook it hot and fast. However, I'm going to be doing something completely different. We're going to be braising it until it's fall apart tender. So for that, I got my cast iron skillet and threw in a little bit of avocado oil. Lay down my steak so that I can get a nice sear. To make sure that that happens, once you put it down, do not touch it for at least 1 minute. Once that 1 minute was up, I flipped it and I got a nice beautiful crust on one side. And that is why most of us like cast iron skillets. Once I was happy with the crust, I took it out and it was ready for the next step, which is to throw in all of my vegetables. For today, I chose onion, celery, and carrots. The only important thing you gotta keep in mind is to make sure every single piece is the same size. That way it will braise evenly. So after throwing them in there, I deglaze the pan. That's just a fancy word to say take all of the goodness that was left behind from the steak. And to do that, as you can see, you just gotta stir it around. For the seasoning, I only threw in salt and freshly ground black pepper, nothing else. Mix it well to make sure every single one of them was perfectly seasoned. Then I added a good amount of tomato paste. This will definitely take the taste to the next level. As everything was getting stuck to the pan once again, I deglaze it with a little bit of white wine. Mix it well and let everything cook for about 2 minutes. I wish you could experience how wonderful this smells. Now to make it even more flavorful, I threw in a little bit of soy sauce, followed by Worcestershire, and of course, garlic. Mix it well and let all of those ingredients get to know each other. Now I like to make a little well for my steaks to be thrown back in. I feel like by doing this, you get a much better result. And of course, do not forget all of the juices from the board. But once that was done, the only thing left to do is to add our braising liquid, and for that, I'm using beef stock. Make sure you add plenty of it. The last thing we want is for that to dry out because it will be a complete disaster. Now the only thing left to do is to cover with the lid and put it in the oven at 250 degrees Fahrenheit for 2 hours. Once the time was up, this is what it looks like. The rich red color is a sign that all of the flavor have been extracted from the vegetables. Now the only thing left to do is to remove the steak. And as I did, I'll tell you one thing, this thing is as tender as it gets. It is literally falling apart. Don't believe me? Check it out. It shreds like nothing. That was exactly what I was looking for. Man, I wish you could take a bite of it. Now we cannot forget about all of that wonderful liquid. And if there's one advice that I can give you is that make sure you are generous with the amount. The flavor profile is just insane. I'm telling you right now, if you've never cooked a steak like this, you should give it a try because this is absolutely delicious. Now in order to make those little cupcakes that you saw in the beginning of the video, I'm going to be using cornbread. And since I have this one available in my pantry, this is the one. But honestly, you can use any mix you like. To make the batter is pretty straightforward, you just gotta follow the instructions in the packaging. I threw in a little bit of milk followed by an egg, butter, and mixed it well. It does not get any easier than that. And as you can see, it gave me a perfect consistency. To make sure that my cupcakes are not gonna stick on me, I'm using the silicone mold. To put them together is pretty straightforward. At the same time, I do want you to learn from my mistake. One thing that I forgot is that whenever you're baking cornbread, it rises. So do not do what I did, which is to overfill it. Especially after you added the batter, you gotta go in with the steak. And as you can see, I filled it up all the way to the top. The ideal thing to do was to leave it at halfway, and not like this. But hey, I'm here to show you my mistakes so that you can avoid them. Now the only thing left to do is to put it in the oven at 350 degrees Fahrenheit and let them bake. Once that was done, I took them out and this is what they look like. As you can see, everything overfilled. But hey, I'm hoping that they will taste great. To give a little bit of extra help, I brushed them with butter, because we all know butter makes everything taste better. But check it out once I remove them from the mold. Even though they do not look perfect, I mean, it's not that bad. At the same time, the important thing is how is it gonna taste? To finish it off, I threw in a little bit of chives, and my steak cornbread muffins were ready. Now the only thing left to do is to taste them. Talking about that, by this time my steak were ready, and as I removed them out of the refrigerator, this is what they look like. The one on the left is our experiment steak, and the interesting thing is that whitish color is completely gone, and both of them almost look identical. But I'll tell you one thing, the experiment steak smells like whiskey, and as always, the dry brine did its job. But now the only thing left to do is to cook them, and for that I'm gonna be first putting a sear on them. Once that's done, I'll be cooking them in indirect heat until I reach an internal temperature of 135 degrees Fahrenheit. And for that, I'm going to be using my wireless thermometers. So now I say, it is enough talking and it is time to cook them, so let's do it.
All right, everybody, here we have our beautiful feast today. Are you ready, Mama?
This looks beautiful. This looks weird.
I agree. Yes, I agree.
What's up with this?
I know it looks different. It looks, you guys are ready. You know, look, Mama, it's supposed to look like this. All of them.
Right, that's like the cutest one.
Yes, it's supposed to look like that. I mean, it's supposed to be a little bite. You know what I mean? Try it, Mama.
Right.
I want to know.
Let's go for this.
Listen, sometimes don't judge a book by its cover, yeah? Let's give this a try. Cheers, everybody.
It's nice.
That's an amazing little appetizer.
The saltiness and the sweetness, like, really combined really well.
This is phenomenal. Definitely recommend. All right, Mama. So we got... Oh, okay.
I'm gonna have it ready here.
Mama, you want another one?
I forgot that they break it
Mama.
apart. Hold on.
Take it. That's okay, Mama. As you can see, Mama really enjoyed it, everybody. This is amazing. It's phenomenal. I know it looks like we just have a nice dinner here with 2 steaks, but as always, I like to experiment. We got an experiment, yes? Mama, sometimes they're good.
I thought that this was the experiment. That was just first.
No, sometimes my experiments are good.
Yeah.
Other times, not so much, everybody. I don't have to tell you, right? All right, but this one, so here's the deal. We got steak 1 and 2. That's all I can tell you. And you gotta let them know if there's any difference.
Okay.
Sounds like a plan?
Sounds like a plan.
All right, we're gonna go with the very first one here. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Just an amazing steak.
There's not much to say. It is a phenomenal steak. It is a Guga steak. Juicy, tender to the max. You feel that charcoal?
Oh yeah. Huh? Oh yeah. Nothing different about that one.
Ah, that's right, Mama. That's my cousin. Nothing different about it. Okay, you ready for the second one?
I'm scared of that.
Oh boy.
I have to be scared with this guy.
Has to be different now, right? All right, let's try this one. Smell it first and tell me if you smell anything, Mama.
Ooh. You put alcohol on this.
You can tell right away. I did
I
put some
can't tell
alcohol.
what it is, but I can smell alcohol.
You can smell some alcohol in there. Now we're gonna go in for the taste, but not strong.
No, not strong. Very
Not
faint.
strong.
But it's there.
It's a nice little hint of a mature taste. That's all I have to say. A mature taste. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers.
It's not a mature taste for you, Mama. Huh?
I like the steak. I like the alcohol, whatever you put in there. I
Yes.
like it, but they don't combine.
It actually changed completely the profile taste of the steak. It's like a different steak.
It's a different steak.
Not in a good way.
No. In the beginning, it's like, oh, there's a nice flavor over here. Oh, there's another nice flavor over here. But then when they start to mesh together, it's like,
Not a good combination.
it doesn't go.
I agree 100%. Not a good combination. I would not recommend it. Definitely stick with the regular one. You will have a better experience. Anyway, guys, these are the results. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you do enjoy it, make sure you give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber, be sure to subscribe for future videos. Remember, if you are interested in anything I use, everything is always in the description down below. Thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you guys on the next one. Eat your steak and drink the whisk separately.
That is the best.
That is the best so far. See you guys on the next one. Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.